Other guys, I think I'm on. Yeah, I'm on. I'm sorry about that. So I wanted to come today, wanted to make this particular video. This video has been on my mind um for a few days now. Um I guess I kind of just been mulling it over and just kind of figuring out how I want to talk about it and get my thoughts together and things like that. Um, but This was a few nights ago. I was doing my regular night shift that I do. I do one night shift a week, overnight shift. And I was doing that. And so I'm on TikTok and I'm watching lives, the people who do these late night lives. Sometimes they're hard to find, but this particular guy, a guy that I kind of newly discovered, but he really has really good lives. And so he was up late, said he had slept earlier that day, and so he was up doing really, I mean, literally, he did his live literally almost through my whole shift, or for a great number of hours through my whole shift. But anyway, at the end of the day, he was talking about what was his title? I don't think I screenshotted that one because I try to do that so that I could remember. Oh, yes, I do. His live was talking about basically what is men's issue with women. Come up, get on the panel, tell me what is your gripe with women? What do women need to change? What do women need to be accountable for? Because we have so many men always talking about women need to be accountable. Women need to be accountable, and so he invited all of these men, any man, and literally almost for the entire live, to come up, tell what women need to be accountable for. What have women done to you personally that they need to be accountable for? What have they done to you personally? So that, of course, made for a very, very interesting live. Um, but what's so funny? What's so funny? First of all, the host is a black man married to a black woman um, for somewhere between 15 and 17 years. I don't know if he said 15 or 16 or 17, but either way, for a number of years. He also admitted he used to be just like those, a lot of guys today. Same thought pattern, same mindset, all of that. Um, he talked a lot about men's behavior, why men do what they did, just giving a lot of game, which actually was very helpful for a lot of us women. But man after man came up on his live and literally we women, of course, we were in the comments and we were saying things and stuff like that, but literally this guy handled it. I mean, he was able to clearly and legitimately and without anger, without cursing, without stopping the live, without disrespecting anyone or anything, literally break down these guys' arguments. And literally, these guys had all of the same talking points, but they were all different. They were saying it in a different way because all of these men that seem to keep getting up there were all of the ones that felt like they were really like, no, okay, you need to hear what I got to say. But when they kept talking, it was the same thing that the other guys were saying. They blamed single baby moms. They blame single moms. They blamed hair weave and makeup and all that, which I just did a video on. Haven't got no comments on it yet. They blamed, um, they did a lot of them did a lot of personal things, talking about themselves and different relationships that they have encountered with specific women. And it was the host just kept telling them like, well, dude, we're not talking about you, because they kept going back to, well, I don't do such and such, and I such and such, such and such. And he's like, well, dude, we're not talking about you personally and your personal whatever. It's like we're talking about as a whole, the just in general, what are the things that women, modern women, whatever y'all want to call them, are doing at this time to mess up relationships with men. Um, and yeah, single moms, they blamed, they threw out Pookie and Ray Ray. They threw out the fact that, women don't want good guys, they all want thugs. They went to that one, like I said, the hair weave makeup thing. um it was about 4 or 5 different points, and I think I've got them. I think that was all of them. But the same talking points all throughout the same thing. A lot of them came up and throughout the stats. Well, all of those stats, and I mean literally all of those stats, got debunked. Um, there were just men literally coming up saying, that's a lie. Like the way they do on my videos, how they come to my videos and just blanketly tell me I'm a lie. They won't tell me what part is a lie. They won't tell me how it's a lie. They won't tell me even how they know it's a lie. They jump, that's a lie. That's not true. And it's just like I have on my videos come back under comments and like, what part? Tell me which one. Let's discuss. Nothing but silence. And this is the same way that he was doing, that these men were doing this guy. Stats, Google figures, all type of websites and so forth were being cited, and this guy was literally telling them like, dude, some of the stuff that you're talking about can literally be debunked with a simple Google search. They start talking about, I think, narcissism, and how narcissism, I mean, I thought it was a well-known fact, how narcissism normally affects more men than women. And another thing that they kept doing was they kept doing the, well, both men and women need to do such and such. Both men and women need to such and such. And they were just like, okay, yeah, okay, but we're talking about just the men, to give us your gripe, argument, whatever, on what women literally need to be accountable for today in this society. And as I said, they couldn't do it. They kept talking about, once again, like I said, both men and women. He could not, it was very hard for him to pin them down on staying on topic with men, because they kept going to, but women do this, and but well, what about women? So they couldn't stay on top and have accountability for themselves. Um, the stats thing is really big, because many of them, the ones who kept thinking that they were intellectual and these educated lames, if they want that, I guess what they like to be called, were coming out there shooting stats and everything, and not only people in the comments, but the guy was telling them like, dude, that's not true, especially like the narcissism thing. And there was guy after guy who just kept coming up there. "Well, I don't think that's true. I don't believe that. I really think, I really think it's more women. I think it's equal or whatever." And everybody just kept saying, okay, well, you can Google it. Like, you don't even have to go to any type of psychology today, or, you know, .gov or what. Like, you don't even have to go to a big, um, specific website to debunk some of the things that they were saying, like narcissism. Like that's just a given that more men are narcissists than women. That don't take away the fact that there are a lot of narcissistic women, but it's the fact men are more likely to be narcissists, and they we went down the different behaviors and all of this stuff that so many of these men do that are absolutely operating in narcissism. Um, but what they kept doing, as I said, is they would get on there and just say, that's a lie. I don't believe that. They would say, like I said, both men and women. But when told, just go Google it. Like you don't have to go to no place special. Just Google it. They wouldn't do it. They literally kept arguing. And even the host was like, dude, I done told you like 3 times, just Google it. Well, I don't have to Google it because I know that. And it's just like, well, yeah, you do, because refuting, you're refuting the fact, and it is a fact. And we're trying to tell you, if you're thinking that everybody's wrong and I'm pandering and simping, because of course he was a panderer and a simp, that's what they were calling him. Um, then all you got to do is Google it for yourself, and they refused. They absolutely refused. And the reason that they refused is the fact that they didn't want to know the truth, because so many of these guys hold on to these specific arguments, these particular arguments that they have, and they feel right, and they feel justified, and they feel as, I mean, they have a whole community of other men who believe that. And they have literally convinced themselves, and nothing else and nobody else is going to convince them that they're wrong. And even if they can go to a place and find out that they're wrong, they're not going to do that because they need those arguments. At the end of the day, they need to have those arguments. They need to have a reason to be mean, ugly, disrespectful, and hate women. They got to have a reason. And if you debunk their arguments and their statistics, which are most of the statistics that these guys hold on to have been disproven so many different times, but they still do it. And like I said, it's because they have to. They absolutely have to, because if they don't, then also it's going to cause them to be accountable for a lot of stuff. And they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to do the work, period, point blank. Even as far as just simply doing a Google search. The guy on the live who's hosting the live told him, is like, dude, you can just open up another window, open up another tab, and just Google it. Why you on here with me? They wouldn't do it. They would not do it. And, it's crazy because, it just proves to me that so many of these men are so stuck and so set in their ways that they don't want to see truth. They don't want to learn truth. They don't want to, like I said, be proven wrong. They want to continue in their delusion, and they want to continue in their feeling of being right and their camaraderie with other men. Because if they get the truth, gain the truth, then they have to change. And once they see the truth, they're willfully being ignorant. They're willfully being ignorant because they know that once they go find the truth and see the truth for themselves and get that realization, that they're going to have to change. Truth absolutely requires change. And they just, I guess they feel like, well, I ain't see it. I ain't never saw that stat. I didn't know that was the truth, because you won't go look, but everybody's telling you, not realizing that you still heard the truth. You still, whether you accept it or not, you're still now accountable for it. They don't understand how it works. They kind of just feel like, oh, I didn't see it. I didn't look that up. I don't know. But you do now. You do now, whether you recognize it or not. Um, I think so many of these guys are just so, they have been caught in this state of being for so long until I think a lot of them just don't want to change. I think some of them, they have to know that it's wrong. They have to know they're in delusion. But they've been in that state for so long that they're now comfortable and they're okay with it. They literally okay with being willfully ignorant. It helps them troll women. It helps them fight with women, and like I say, they've just done it so long at this point that they're okay with it. There was one guy, I didn't even say nothing, but there was one guy who literally said, "We don't have to look up the truth, or we don't have to." He said something about we learned the truth through our Godfather Kevin Samuels, and I was like, "Wow, okay, so that's your gospel. Like that's what you gonna live and die on that mountain, and that's your right. That really is your right, but it's not your right to go with those things, those wrong points, those wrong talking points, and those inaccurate stats and things like that, and still treat people like shit and do people bad and go to women's pages and troll under their comments. And it's just, it's really, I'm just really convinced that there's always going to be a sector of men who are going to do that, and that's just where they are. They don't want to be different. They like being where they are, how they are. And but it's sad to me, and it was actually, it actually came down to a point of me, like, feeling like, man, this is like scary. This is scary that a person is going to refuse to change, can get the truth, easily get the truth, and change their mindset, but want to live in hate and delusion and treat people bad based off that. You know, so many of these guys, let's take for example, one of the big things that was absolutely, it's already been proven now that it's a skit. It was a skit put out by the red pill community. The woman, the green, the Cheesecake Factory lady, and her date, both of them were actors. So it was a whole skit put out by the red pill community to make black women look bad. And it was also to make men of other races look at black women, and them try to ruin black women's chances of dating out, which is a really, man, it's like, man, the effort that it takes for you to even think of doing something like that is, I mean, man, the reach. Like, there's a scripture, and I'm not going to get off, but there's a scripture that says something about how the wicked lay up on their bed at night thinking of how to trap the righteous. I'm paraphrasing that, of course, but that is literally what it talked about. The wicked laying up on their bed all night thinking of how to trap and entangle the righteous, you know? And that's a perfect example. But anyway, um, these men know by now that that was a skit, and they're still using that. They're still pointing at black women. Oh, black women don't want to go to Applebee's. Black women don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. Black women, and it's just like, dude. Also, okay, let me stick with the Cheesecake Factory thing. So at this point, we know that it was a skit. They know that it was a skit, and they're still comparing black women to that. And that's black women's attitude. That's just how they act, and they ungrateful, and you can't do nothing for them. And and it's just really sad that they continue to take instances and generalize all black women. They put all black women in that. let a celebrity get divorced and watch them start saying again, see, black women, when you marry black women, this is what happened with black women. They take your money and you can't see your kid and they bitter and da 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 da. And it's just like, dude, that's another point I think that they got on, if I can remember correctly. I know I heard the argument somewhere. But the fact that they look at these rich celebrities and ball players and everything's money, their multi-million dollars that they make annually, and when they get a divorce, they put all of that stuff on black women. Oh, she finna get half of that man's money, and y'all women need to da 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 da. And it's just like, first of all, dude, you don't have anything to do with that, because you're not making anywhere near that kind of money. So why are you in this man's pocket and his relationship, and you haven't spent one day with that man? You probably ain't read his biography if he has one. You don't read up probably about anything about his social life, private life, whatever, probably because it's not made available. But you've put everything on the woman because the woman now has gotten his money. When, first of all, women are not the ones who created this justice system. All of that stuff were men. Politics, religion, the justice, all of that stuff were done by men. Women have not had a voice until very recently. All these things that are set up foundationally here in America were done and established by men. And so you want to get mad because basically a male dominated system, which is the justice system, is saying that they don't want to take care of your children. And they don't want, if you have had a wife, for you to just be able to put her out, put the children out, and just start new and just say F her. They want you to be accountable for her part in it, her years in it, her taking care of you, her being there for you, her whatever she did for you and your children. The men who set up that system of the justice system are saying loud and clear, we don't want to take care of your children. We don't want to for you to just make women just homeless and just because you're mad. And furthermore, them getting angry at men whose money they have nothing to do with, it just baffles me because the number of these men that will not acknowledge the fact that these very, very rich men have accountants. They have financial advisors. They have things set in place, probably from college, when they start making all of this money. And when these college recruiters and stuff starts looking at them and seeing that, oh, that's some NBA or that's some NFL potential right there, whatever. Don't think that these guys are just out here willy nilly. Now they out there willy nilly probably because they don't know how to handle the money. But believe me, they got some accountants, they got some lawyers, they have financial advisors, and all of that. So you would rather be mad at the woman for marrying them, bearing them children, spending years with them, don't know what the hell she got to go through mentally. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if every time he loses a game, he come beat the shit out of her. We don't know if every time he loses a game, he's mad for a month. We don't know if every time he loses a game, he want to go party and go like. We don't know what the women go through. You just look at, oh, he rich, he got money, she must have been living a bad life. Maybe, but maybe she was also going through bullshit with him. Maybe he's bipolar. Maybe like it's so many different things. And yeah, maybe she was happy and blissful and just living it up. But still, at the end of the day, because he mad or he wants somebody else or they just didn't get along, he should not have the absolute right just to kick her out, kick the children out. You ain't got no home. You ain't, I mean, you've gotten accustomed to this lifestyle. The women and the children have gotten accustomed to the lifestyle. How do you how do you with anything within you just say F y'all and F the kids and going on about your business? Like that's crazy to me. That is really, really crazy to me. The fact that so many of these men think that money solves everything, and it doesn't. Just because a man makes a woman rich or brings her into his lifestyle does not mean that that woman ain't going through a lot of stuff. A lot of times she's going through a lot of stuff because usually a man with a whole bunch of money and access to money and the ability to do whatever he wants pretty much with money, 9 times out of 10, he pretty much an asshole. I won't say 9 times out of 10. A great majority of the time, a lot of these dudes are very assholish and entitled. And yeah, she might stay for the money. That's her benefit. I don't know how she thinks, but that's probably how she's thinking. All the shit that I gotta go through. Okay, well, we're rich. I'm gonna go buy me a couple of more diamonds. Let's go on a trip. Let's go do whatever. Let's go to Paris, like whatever. And yeah, the money is a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? It would be a bit of a kind of helps make it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there's so many men that are so pressed about other men's money when in reality, these men could do prenups if they want to. These men, with their lawyers and financial advisors and all of this stuff, could do what is needed to protect their money and their assets. They could do that. They could absolutely do that. If they choose not to, why are you mad? Why are you mad? A lot of these men, a lot of the things that this guy was also asking them were things that never even affected a lot of them guys. He would ask them because of course they would run around the questions and try to avoid and try to go around this bush. Oh my God, the goalposts got moved so many different times. But he stuck with them. He stuck on them and he did not let them run. And when he finally nailed them down to specific questions, and he would ask them, but has that happened to you? Did that ever has any woman ever did that to you? And you'll hear, no, but, or no, but I heard. And it's just like, but if it ain't never happened to you, why are you living your life in accordance to something that happened to somebody else or something that you heard or something that might happen? Like, why are you mad at women and don't want to ever get married because I heard such and such could happen and all these other men have said but that that literally is cutting your life short. That's literally you walking around mad, angry, disgruntled, and all of that at women about stuff that happened to other men. Like literally just let that sink in. But it's what so many of them do. It is what so many of them do. I mean, they are ass. And this particular guy, I'm not just pumping him up on his live. There's other men in other lives who have these type platforms and they do the same thing and they ask these men these questions and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna really say 9.5 times out of 10, they ask these men these questions and these men literally tell them no, that ain't never happened to me personally, but and it's just like wow, it's so weird and crazy. I'm gonna close, but I did, like I said, I wrote a couple things down because I wanted to make sure I hit certain points. So, um, but there's yeah. They don't want to put in the effort. They don't want to change. They don't want to just make real subtle, easy adjustments and changes and find out the truth about things. They are not willing to do that because, like I said, it's going to change their narrative. They're gonna have to be accountable for things now. Don't want to do that. Um, I think just in general, I'm gonna end it on here. I think just in general, men, so many of these men want to, they don't want to do the change. They don't want to do the work or put in the work, go to therapy, go to count. Like they don't want to do any of that. They want women to change. They want women to put in the work and change things for them. Why? Because women have done it forever. Like we women have forever taken up the slack of men's shortcomings and men's problems and men's issues and the household issues and the children. Like women have taken on all of that and just fixed the shit. Like we just make it work. And we've always made it work. And I'm gonna probably have to come make another video because I have a little, I'm on my way to work here in a minute, but I, I'm gonna have to come back and make a video talking more on the women's side of this. But I don't think men really understand the I'm tiredness, the amount of I'm tiredness that women are. Women are so tired. Women are so absolutely emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausted for cleaning up everything, for making everything right, making everything better, making him go to the doctor, making him take care of his health, making sure things are good at home, making sure the children are all right, making sure that he's okay in order to go to work, being his peace, being like, y'all don't understand the amount of emotional energy that causes. That's a lot. Like y'all ain't easy. You men are not easy like y'all think y'all are. I keep on here. Oh, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy, and I don't know men like that. And my friends don't. Dude, y'all are fucking exhausting. Believe me. I am a middle-aged woman and I have been married. I've been in long marriages and more than one long marriage. And I've been in relationships with the men and I have done it and I've made it work and I've taken care of men. Matter of fact, I took care of two husbands. Matter of fact, two husbands were literally on their deathbed and I literally brought them back with my food, with the way that I cook, with me changing their diets, with me making sure that mentally they're okay, making a peaceful home, a peaceful setting, doing all of those things that I needed to do while literally they did nothing. Nothing. I didn't even really get a thank you for that shit. And that's me personally talking about my own stuff. I'm so tired. I will never get married again. The thought of all of the stuff that I've done in relationships and everything, I would never again. I wouldn't even tell another woman to do it. I really wouldn't. At this point in my life, I wouldn't encourage a woman to get married. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't discourage her either. I wouldn't tell her not to. That's her thing. But if she asked me, for what? I'm gonna tell her to put herself first. I'm gonna tell her to take care of her mental first. I'm gonna tell her, like I've told my daughter, travel first, get educated first, live your life first. Don't get tied down with no babies. Thankfully, she has not. Don't get tied down with no men and no strong, long, hard, dedicated relationship. Don't do that when you're young. Don't do that. I made a mistake. I got married at 20. I got married at 20 and I stayed married for 10 years. And I would not do that again. I wouldn't do that again because I lived. M- Pretty much the majority of those 10 years, I lived doing what I needed to try to do to please him and make a good home and make sure this was good or whatever. And we still got divorced. And he still, and this is the I have to, well, I won't go there. I won't go there because that's gonna open up a whole nother can of worms. But at the end of the day, it still didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Takes two. I'm not blaming him all. Because actually, y'all have heard me say on here that, my first husband's really a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. I wish him the best. He's remarried, been married for a while, and he's doing okay. And we both know that we were just young. We both know we were just young. I don't have a bad word to say about him. I really don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I can, but I wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, it was both of us, and he's literally really a good guy. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Still got most of his family on one of my Facebook pages. More I got more of his family, matter of fact, on my Facebook than I have of mine. Still call his mother, still call her my mother-in-law. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're genuinely good people. He don't have a bad word to say about me. I don't have a bad word to say about him. I wish more breakups and more divorces and whatever's could be like that. Like I really do. Not that they break up, but the type of relationship that, he and I have, the mutual respect that we have for one another, you know? So guys, I'm gonna turn this off. Like I said, I gotta get up, I gotta get dressed for work. And yeah, let me know what you think about, anything that I've said. Leave me a comment. Please hit all notifications so that you know when I upload new videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And you guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.